Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I feel very peppy for this podcast. And sorry I'm getting it out so late. Hopefully I finish recording this by this Wednesday night. But I am in a peppy talking mood, so this is good. I don't always get an opportunity to chit-chat in the most opportune times. I'm most peppy and excited in the morning, but it's often the same time that Everest is super peppy, so it doesn't always work out to chit-chat. Okay, don't let this yawn deceive you. I am very awake. There's a lot of things I have to do tonight, like work, for one, after this podcast, and finish a couple YouTube videos, 2 to be exact. It's Vlogmas right now. Woohoo. Merry Christmas to you and all of yours. I'm going to be ending a season 2 for the podcast coming up. At the end of the year, we'll start season 3. So that is exciting. And finishing up some Vlogmas. We're doing Vlogmas. Today was day 4 or day 5? Today was day 5. But I'm going to be posting day 4 tonight. And then tomorrow posting day 5. I think I'm going to be one day behind Christmas. I think most people post on Christmas or on that day, but I'm just going to have to be one day behind. So I'll post the Christmas vlog the day after Christmas. So, fortunately, it is what it is. But today, I am going to be chit-chatting about all the things in a California world. And so, seeing California through a Midwestern person's eyes is very unique. Now, granted, a California and a Midwest person, they're born in the same country, so there aren't going to be, huge, drastic changes. It's not going to be driving on the other side of the street or anything, like if you go to London, but, there's still going to be, very different things. And I'm just going to talk about a little bit of those that I've noticed in my first 2 weeks in California, living there, and I'm just going to share them with you. You might be from California and you're like, these things are completely normal, you're crazy, there's nothing weird about it. But there might not be something weird about it, it's just different. And maybe someone from California would be like, oh, that's completely normal, but someone, if you're not from California, if you're from most people in the United States are not from California, they might see it as, oh, that's a little different, where a California person would just dismiss it. And again, it's not like a huge difference, but they do things different. It's kind of like California, I could say California is like its own mini country. Granted, Texas is the only state that could function, they say, on its own with water and gas and electricity and all that. It could fully sustain itself as its own country. But California, I don't think so, because it would dry up in a second, probably, from its drought. But anyways, so I'm going to start and jump right into it before I yawn this entire podcast. Hey, where did I put it? There it is. Okay. Are you ready? I'm ready. So Cali in the eyes of a Midwesterner. Okay, number one. Traffic is nuts. Are you surprised? No, I know this one. I'm trying to do the boring ones first here. Traffic is nuts in California. Like, I know you've always said it. If you're not from California, people always say, oh, they drive crazy in California. Well, they actually do. Like, they actually do. Like, and I thought people drove kind of crazy in Texas, and they do. But in California, it's just about 5 notches more, or 10. They are just reckless, borderline reckless. Not all drivers, of course, are reckless. You just get a big chunk of people that see other people driving ridiculously reckless and then feel the need to be aggressive, quote unquote, off. And it's actually reckless. And I don't know how they get away with driving like that so much. And everybody, I mean, and there's a thing like, you know, the police can't pull every single person over. So there's that, you know. People just pull right out in front of you. You know, you're coming, you're approaching, you're only 10, 15, 20, 30, maybe 50 feet away from them at most. And they just pull right in front of you, or they pull across, like if you're in the fast lane and they're on the right side pulling out, they'll just cross over that first lane and just go right into your fast lane and go as slow as can be and just go right in front of you. Caleb and I just pray constantly, you know, to not die when we drive the roads. We actually avoid the highways. I don't know what his family thinks about it. They probably think we're nuts, but they are California drivers, you know, so they're used to the insane chaos on the highway. We just aren't. So we have been avoiding highways and tolls and all that. I'm sure we'll work our way to the highway and risk our lives like everybody else. But, you know, as of now, we have a baby in the car, so we're just going to play it safe. Because I don't know that we can trust their driver people. Like, I just don't think, there's just too many, it's just so many reckless drivers. It's not like you see 1 or 2 a week, you know, of all your driving in a week, and you only see 1 reckless driver. You know, that's probably Texas, or 2. You know, you go to Minnesota, you see like maybe once a month or twice a month you'll see a reckless driver. California, it's the majority of people are reckless drivers. Like, every time you get in the car, you will see a reckless driver. I mean, I don't know if I want to say the majority. It's half and half. Maybe not half and half. Okay. A third of the people are reckless drivers. So it's every time you're in the car, you're seeing someone being crazy, ridiculously reckless. No question. I mean, if you ask someone from California, they would agree with me. Like, I'm pretty sure. If you haven't been praying, but you need to, go get you some California traffic. You will get all prayed up in a very short amount of time. Because you will need it to live for your next car ride. So this next thing is something I've actually seen in Texas as well. So because it doesn't snow in California, they buy like these projector light things, and they project like moving snow on their garages usually, or their big white vans, you know, or just a part of their house. And sometimes they're colored, sometimes they're white, but they have like they're just reflecting the snow all over their buildings, basically. And that, it's like lights. There's light snow. It's like snow, but it's lights in the shape of snow. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, I find that so cute and comical all in the same sentence, because it's just cute. Like, yeah, you don't have snow, but you are trying to get the full Christmas effect, you know? And I find it comical, obviously, because there's no snow, and so they want a white Christmas, and yeah. Okay, the baby woke up, and I had to get him back down. So, next. Image is a huge part of society. And I mean, in today's culture, it really is everywhere. It's just, it impacts everything people do, and it affects, like, socially, you know, everybody in a large, huge way. But in California, it's such a huge, like, I want to say problem, but I'm just not going to say that. I'm just going to say it's very important to them, more so than I see other places in the world. Like, as a majority, as a whole, you know, like, the majority rule, California is all about what your image and what it looks like. Like, a prime example, I have this example way down on my list, but you will walk around in the neighborhoods and you will see, like, amazing cars sitting in front of a little, you know, trailer house. So if that doesn't scream image, but, you know, you live in a trailer house, but you drive, you know, a crazy car, expensive, beautiful, shiny car. I mean, it's telling you a little something. They clearly don't have either the money, and they're just trying to impress people they don't even know all day long, or people at work that don't even actually care, when they should be just buying a house and being reasonable and not having a car payment, or, you know, not wasting the money on something like that. Okay, so people on bikes just ride between cars and go out in front of traffic only as cars are... Okay. So, like, bikes will just drive in the middle of the street in the place of where a car should be. Oh, where am I here? Ooh, I'm getting tired. I'm so sorry about that. I'm not quite falling asleep, but I was looking at something, at, like, my notes, and then I started getting really sleepy. That's crazy. I started Peppy, and it's only been, like, not even 15 minutes. Lord, help us all. If you didn't click off during that time, you're a real one. Like, you sure are a real one. This is better here. Let me rotate this Sorry about any scratching. Okay. Everyone, it's such a weird thing. So when bikes go out, they will go in between cars and like force their way to the front of the line because they think because they're on a bike they have like special privileges. No, bro. Well, okay, in California you do. And that to me is a very strange thing. Obviously they have a bike lane, but bikes don't really use it. They'll just use the lane that your car is in, and then they'll weave between you as if you couldn't just jerk over or go straight and leave with your drink in my hand. Wait, what? Did you hear that? I literally... Okay. I fell asleep and I was talking about something else. No, I want to finish this podcast, people. I literally just fell asleep and said something. I don't even know what I just said. I feel like I need to stop the podcast and listen to it over. This is ridiculous. Okay, so I just listened to that part back, and it's not that bad. I literally was just like, that's just not that bad. You just heard it. It's like all the leave with your drink in my hand. That's all I said. But I was asleep. I was falling asleep saying that. I am ridiculous. Yeah, so let's... Anyways, bikes will jump out in front. They weave between cars. So dangerous. While cars are moving, they'll weave between. Yeah, Okay, I started falling asleep again. This is not good. Anyways, people will weave between cars, jump out in front, and then when the light is like still red, but people are stopping at a stoplight, but they haven't fully stopped and the lights haven't turned green, it will go, like I've seen people drive as if the light is green, so they're driving and they're going through an intersection at a red stop light. I mean, that's a pretty insane thing. I just think that's super wrong. I think they should be on the sidewalk, number one. Number two, okay, if they really want, they could be on the bike path. But that's like as far as it goes. Acting like a car while you're a bike is so frustrating for the cars. Because a bike cannot move like a car. And it can't pick up speed. Anyways. Dang, I'm falling asleep, y'all. This is the worst. I really had lots of plans for this. I'm going to try to do one more here. Okay, so there is just an exorbitant amount of homeless people. There's like, you'll be driving on the highway and you'll look to your left or to your right, and there'll just be like a tent set up, like camping, or like a piece of what's that? Canvas set up for like a shelter. It's just kind of heartbreaking and ridiculous. I saw it on the news in California that yeah, I'm really falling asleep. I literally just passed out. My head, I don't know if you heard that noise, but my head fell to the side. Well, I might have to finish this podcast later when I'm more awake. Yeah. Okay, I had to start recording the next day because I just couldn't stay up. I don't know what happened from when I started the recording to, like, I don't know, 8 minutes into the podcast, and I just fell asleep. I was literally passing out. I'm so sorry. But it is the next day, so you will be getting the podcast a day late, but it's okay. So yeah, there's just a lot of homeless people in that area. I saw on the news that they're trying to obviously get it lower, and they interviewed a woman, and they were saying that there were a little bit less because a lot of seniors have been being housed. And then I think it was like it was some other stat, but a different age range. I wonder if it was like kids or something being housed, and then elderly folk being housed, like higher percentages of them that were homeless now being housed, type of thing. But there's just a lot, and you'll see it on the highway. Like normally you just see trees or shrubbery or like a wall, but there's like houses, like tents, people living on the side of the highway or just everywhere. It's really sad. But I guess it makes sense if you didn't have a place to live to go somewhere warm where the weather's really good majority all year round. You don't have to worry about frostbite. Like here in South Dakota today, if you are outside for 10 minutes or more, you're frostbite. Like, people that are homeless will die, like you don't live in something like that. Yeah. The average church where we are, maybe, I don't know. No, so okay, this is a stat. The average church here is 65 people in San Diego. And I mean, I was thinking, like, is that normal? I could do some research here while we're chit-chatting and just look up, like, let's say the average church in a Midwest, state. The average church size in Minnesota. Okay? I feel like it's going to be different than like in Texas, because I was thinking, like, okay, in Texas is like it's going to be bigger because it's in the Bible Belt, type of thing. Yeah, so it says, while the average U.S. congregation gathers in a building that seats around 200, only 65 attend the median church each week. I guess this is just Google saying what is the average size of a church. So maybe that's like the number that they just throw out there for all churches. Here. Wish there was just a clean, like, number, but maybe there is here. Yeah, anyways. So, I just was thinking that's kind of low, because it's California type of thing? I'm not sure, but pretty much, I just thought it seemed kind of low. But when I think about it, if you think about all, like, the rural places in all the United States, that's probably an average sized church, maybe, in the US. I kind of felt like it was low, but that's probably because the majority of the churches I go to are a little bit bigger. So, there's that. Okay, next. Disney. Okay, the whole thing with, like, a Disney pass is so crazy to me. People will be, like, going to Disney all decked out in their, like, Mickey ears and Mickey clothes and backpacks and stuff like this before they even get there. Like, you would think when you go and you're at Disney, you're like, okay, well, they just bought that, you know, like, or like when you go to any fair or park or something, like, you carry your own backpack, like, not the name of the park or whatever. But, like, no, people in Disney are, like, already dressed in, like, Disney shoes, Disney clothes, and it's like, oh, did they just buy that? No, they came there in that because they have a pass. Like, I was shook because, like, with a pass, people can go whenever. You know, yeah, there's a little bit of rigmarole that you have to go, you know, like, you can only reserve 3 days in advance or whatever. There's a little bit of rigmarole that I don't need to share with you because if you don't know, you don't know. It doesn't even matter. But with a pass, technically you can go whenever, you know. We went one time and it rained the whole time. And it was like the one time it rained in that city all year. But people with, like, the pass, they didn't have to worry about it. They just didn't go, and then they would reserve the next day or whatever. Because the next day was a gorgeous day. But I was like, that is so awesome to be able to have a pass. And I'm sure, like, so many people in the Anaheim area, like, have passes, you know? Because, like, if you think about it, that would be such a fun place to be able to bring your kids for something to do. You know, like, let's say you have, like, 1 or 2 kids. That would not be that hard to, like, take them to Disney. Okay, it would be a lot to, like, get all ready and go. But, like, it'd be such a fun thing to be able to do if you lived in that area at any moment, at any time, you know. I don't know. I just think that just blew my mind because they don't really have stuff like that everywhere I've lived. And it's just, I don't know. It's like only in California to have a thing. I'm sure there's other parks that have passes like that everywhere, but it's Disney, you know, so it's like special. The food, the rides, all the stuff you can see, and like people walking around dressed up, and the shows. I mean, there's just so much going on, and to be able to have like a pass, like a year pass where you can just go any time of the year, it just blows my mind. It really does. Okay. In-N-Out. Like, you can have In-N-Out next. I'm talking about the next thing. In-N-Out at, like, and such all the great foods at your fingertips at all times. Now, this is one of the best things in the whole world, but it's not only one of the best things, it's also the most dangerous things, especially for my husband and I, because we absolutely love, like, exotic and new and crazy foods from all over the world that we've never tried. We just love it. And it's so much fun for us to be able to just try those kinds of foods and just explore, and I don't know. And so where we live right now, that is not the case at all. The food is, we always say it's like mediocre at best. Like, the best kind of food you ever get, it's like below average food. Like, oh yeah, you know, and we always tell people when they come, like, the food is below average here, don't get excited, I'm sorry. You know, we just want to set the expectation super low, because the standard is low here. You know, we live in the country, you know, so you're not going to get, you know, food that, like, you can find in California. You're just not. And so, anyways, we love In-N-Out too. In-N-Out is just a regular old place, but it's not. At the same time, it's so good and it's so cheap. And having In-N-Out, like, right, I know I'm saying, like, oh, we love In-N-Out, and then we also love Crazy Exotic Foods. We love them both. But In-N-Out is, like, your fast food, but it's, like, so good. And it's, like, you can't just find it anywhere. Like, they don't have it in the Midwest, and they don't have it in the North. It just doesn't exist in the North, which is really sad. They really need to move that chain up. If ever I have a voice in that, I will make, which I probably will never have a voice, so don't get your hopes up. But if I do ever get a voice in In-N-Out, if they can move them up north, I would advocate for that. To have In-N-Outs in the North, because all my family's in the North and in the Midwest, except not all of them, obviously. Half of them are in California, but I mean, a lot of my family is in the Midwest. So anyways, so I spend a lot of time in the Midwest, you know. Okay, next, triple and quadruple decker highways. Now, we did experience this in Texas when we lived in Dallas, but it's just a shocking thing to see. So this technically isn't just a California thing. I mean, it's in other states too, but neither is In-N-Out, I guess. But the food is very unique to California. Anyways, I'm backtracking here, but now I'm going forward. The quadruple decker highways is just a really shocking thing to see. And when you drive into the big cities in California, it's just really cool to see the 4-decker, the triple-decker highways. And I really think they're just really stunning and shocking and beautiful in such a really weird way. Only like a city person could say that, even though I feel like I'm half and half. I'm a little city and I'm a little country, because when we lived in the city, I yearned for the country and I wanted to get out and go on walks and stuff, because I really don't like, it's not that I don't like taking walks, like, in a neighborhood. I do. It's just something so much more refreshing in the woods, specifically, or in a park, or in nature. It's just, and, like, being, again, like, with, like, in a garden, like, that's just so refreshing. And in a park, or mostly, I love the woods. It's so wonderful in the woods. We have woods here, but we also have mountain lions, so, give and take here. You got to pick. So, okay, in California, the mountains are absolutely stunning. Like, there were so many times where we would drive through, and yes, they're mostly brown, but for some reason, the mountains are, like, misty, and maybe it's from the fires, but I don't think it was fiery, like, there were fires going on. It was just, like, misty, and there's, like, green trees, and, like, the beautiful houses stacked up right next to each other, up in the mountains, like, right by each other, and just coloring, and I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's, like, all the trees are, like, speckled, art trees. All the houses are speckled over the mountains, but then you'll have those mountains where there's no houses on it, and, like, the sky was, like, purple and pink and blue and indigo and violet, and the mountains were brown, and there were some green trees on them, and, like, it's as if the sky blended in with the mountains, and yet the sky was like it was like a Bob Ross painting. It was so gorgeous and so beautiful, and it's all out in the distance. It's just, I have a lot of those videos, a little bit of those videos actually, in my, like, moving to California vlog. So if you want to check that out, you can see a little bit of that. I did record a little bit of that because it was so just stunning and so beautiful. It's towards the end of the video, when we are driving into California. Yeah, it's just, the houses are beautiful. It's almost, like, super mystical and mysterious and majestic, and kind of just like Wonderland. I don't know, you can get lost in that beauty, like, of the mountains of California, 100%. Okay, so next, in my grandparents' backyard, like, this is something only you can do in California. Maybe you can do it in Hawaii, but who wants to go to Hawaii? Like, okay, some people want to go to Hawaii. I wouldn't mind going to Hawaii, honestly, but California is, like, on the mainland, which is the best. Like, you just, like, being on the mainland is the best, and it makes things cheaper, even though California is super expensive. But, like, okay, I'm trying to talk to you about these avocado and tangerine trees in my grandparents' backyard. Like, they're technically a winter fruit. The tangerines are winter, like these type of tangerines and these type of avocados happen to be winter ones. They're ripe in the winter. And, like, to be able to have an avocado that you can just, my grandpa always wants me to go up and pick them. I think they're going to be ripe soon. He was saying he had some that Caleb picked, and they were ripening, like, on the countertop, and the tangerines. But, like, how cool. Like, I was feeding Everest avocado and tangerines freshly picked from the backyard. Like, that is so unique to California. I feel so crazy, so special, so my kind of thing. I love it. If I could have an avocado tree, we would never be without avocados unless they're not ripe or whatever. But still, oh my gosh, avocado toast every day. Yes, queen. But to be able to have them in your house and wait and let them ripen just from your backyard, oh, special. So special. So amazing. Okay. I put like a shaka sign next to this because drive-through coffee shops. I know this is not specific to California, but they are like big in California. Like when we lived in Texas, which is the closest thing I've ever lived, like the closest state I've ever lived that is close to or like similar to California, which it's not really similar to California at all, but it's the closest thing I've ever lived. Closest state. They have one drive-through coffee shop, 151 Coffee, and it's like Caleb's favorite. 151 or 515. I think it's 151, and it's Caleb's like favorite coffee, and it's so good. And it's so much fun. They have so many flavors, and you can drive through. And that's in Texas. And when we went to California, it's like so many drive-up coffee shops, and it's like the best thing ever. And we love it. Like they'll just be like a little pop-up, and it's like awesome for like people in California because you don't have to pay for like so much overhead of a whole building, but like people love the drive up. Like we were so into drive ups that there were so many new coffee shops that we had never tried that we really wanted to, but like they were not drive up, so we weren't gonna go. We skipped them, and because we wanted to go to a drive up, or we were going to try to go to like new coffee shops, but there were the old ones or the ones that we're used to, but they were drive up. So we were like, duh, going to drive up, we're not going to get out of the car, have to get him out of the car, the baby, and then put him back. Like, no, we're doing the drive up. It was just hands down. So like, it's the best. It's the best. Okay. Yeah, next one. CBD and weed smell. Like CBD doesn't have a smell, but like the weed smell everywhere. Like on walks, like when you're walking like in the back of like restaurants, like where the garbage can is, the dumpster. Like you'll just be walking and in a neighborhood, like even my grandparents' neighborhood, and you'll just walk past and a whole, like I swear someone's in their house like smoking up or in their backyard, and you can just smell it everywhere. Now, granted, you can't smell weed everywhere, but I probably smell weed, like, once a day. You know, maybe every other day. But, like, that doesn't happen anywhere else I've ever been. Like, in Spain, in Europe, okay, that's a different world than here. Europe is such a different world than here. Things are so different over there. Yeah, California is, like, its own world. And I'm going to get to that later. I made a comment. I think that's just all I'm going to say about that. But, like, it's crazy. That's really different. Okay, the image continues. I don't know if I already said this, but like super nice cars in front of like so kind of houses, or like even like a trailer type of house, and you see like this most incredible car, and it's just like an image thing. Like when you're driving down the street, people don't know what house you live in, but they see your car and they just immediately think, oh, you know, you're something, you know. So it's like just an image thing, you know. It is an image thing, and that's okay. I mean, whatever. I mean, don't let it get evil or bad, but, like, that is our culture, so maybe it's not really a good thing. I don't know. It's just really highlighted in California. That's all. People are honest in California, though. Like, what am I trying to say here? Oh, yeah. So we were driving, and we saw this guy carrying a sign that said, "I won't lie, I just want weed." And, like, just the same way that people ask for money, like, maybe sometimes homeless or people that act like they're homeless, like, at the end, like, on a corner, or, like, right when you get on a highway, or, like, at a stoplight, or a median, like, people are asking, like, help, anything will work, anything will help, just, like, I need gas, I need this, I need food, I need shelter, I need a place. But, like, no, in California, they're just like, nah, I won't lie, I just want weed. Like, and I'm thinking, like, this must work, like, people must just give him money because he's out here with a really nice sign. It was a really pretty sign, you know. I was like, this must work. Like, that is so funny. And then the fact that people in California are like, yeah, let's give him money because he just wants weed. Like, it's so funny to me. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't work, and maybe he was just trying that for the first time and we happened to see it. But, I mean, he must have seen that somewhere, or maybe he's just trying it for the first time. But I feel like, yeah. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that. It was just funny. Places like Target turn into, like, convenience stores. So, like, California is so funny. Like, also, there was a Walmart that was a part of a mall. Like, I have never seen a Walmart a part of a mall, or Target, the small version of it, as small as, like, a Walgreens or a CVS or a Rite Aid if you're in California. We don't have Rite Aids anywhere. That's, like, not anywhere I've ever been. Like, I've seen people that have YouTube channels that are from California, and they always talk about Rite Aid, and I think that's like a Walmart, CVS type of thing, but, like, we don't have them anywhere else in the US. So, like, to see a Target, like, the size of a convenience store was like, my husband actually was talking about it. I didn't actually see it, but he was talking about it, and, like, yeah, anyways. And then Walmart part of a mall, where the mall was still closed, but the Walmart was open. It was just kind of funny. The Walmart also had, like, this elevator, like, escalator thing for your cart. Now, Caleb said he grew up in California, so he said, yeah, he's seen that his whole life. But, like, I've never seen that, and that is so bizarre to be able to have a thing for your cart and it, like, connected. I'm like, I would never know how to work that thing to get the cart to, like, go all the way up, like, the escalator connected to it. I don't know, that was just crazy to me. Anyways, we're almost done here. I do have to get to a Christmas party here, so I do want to just finish up here. So, I feel like they're their own country, California, because they do things so differently than the rest of the United States. They act like it just seems like, not they act, but, like, the country, like, the people that run the country just act like they're a different country in a way. It just seems like so many things are just so different. Like, the mindset, even of California, feels way different than the rest of the United States. Like, as a majority, you know? I don't know. It just feels like California is their own. Like, you go to California and everything is so much different than the rest of the world. I mean, United States world. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my own opinion. It is my opinion, but, like, I don't know. It's just different. And it's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing, because also California has its own weather like nobody else gets in the whole world. So, again, its own country. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You'll find things that are only in California, you know? You don't find that anywhere else. I don't know. That's what... Okay, anyways. Things like Dickies hats and leather wallets are behind glass doors and locked in a case. That was weird. We saw that at a store, and we were like, what? Like, a hat? It was like a Dickies hat. I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'm not familiar with Dickies brand. Maybe it's a really expensive brand, but it was locked in a case like you would find, like, Beats or, like, headphones or, like, a really expensive electronic, you know? But they would lock... Oh, also, this in the past, I found they lock in California, they would lock formula, like baby's formula. They would lock it in a case. That shocked me. Like, I know it's expensive, but is it that expensive that you would lock it in a case? Anyways, you needed help to get it out. You have to buy like 10-cent bags. Like when you go to the grocery store and you want to leave and you have a bag, you have to buy the bag. It's 10 cents. And the bags are super thick and heavy and sturdy and like reusable and heavy duty. But like, I just feel like it's a way for California to like make more money or something, or like make you reuse the bags because they don't want to make it themselves. I don't know, maybe they're trying to be sustainable, maybe, and I honor that, I respect that, but at the same time it's like kind of frustrating. So we act like we're in Aldi every day and we just don't carry a bag. When we leave, we just don't do it because, I don't know, it just feels like a conformity weird, I don't know, maybe I'm making it up. It's just a weird thing that I think is weird. Anyways, firefighters running with walkie-talkies. I've only seen this when we're here in California. And you'll see in the morning on bridges and like in parks, there will be firefighters everywhere, like doing their morning workout, I guess, but they all have their walkie-talkies. And I realized later, I talked to my sister when we were there, who lives there, and she was like, yeah, it's because there's fires everywhere, like, and it's a low fire season right now, but they always have to be ready to go fight a huge fire. And I'm like, that's only in California. That's so crazy, like, so interesting. Like, the culture is just, it's so different and interesting. And yet, again, it's not like a big like tweak, but it is something, and I've never seen that. It's just really interesting. Okay, last thing, and this is kind of a silly thing, but like there's like plastic covers on swings at the parks, in swing sets at parks, and I've never seen that. It's always like the chain, like you just have like a metal chain and kids hold onto the chain, and yeah, it sometimes can pinch your fingers. Like, I remember that growing up, but like at the parks in California, they will have like plastic covers over them, and I thought that was so awesome, like, so that the babies, because these were specifically on baby swings, they don't pinch their fingers. Oh, how cool. And I've never seen that anywhere. Maybe it's just a new thing and I've only seen it in California, but like the parks around where we live don't have that, and I've never seen that before. So anyways, thank you for listening. And today I was much more peppy. I didn't even have to have coffee or anything, but I'm not really drinking coffee anyways. Anyways, thank you so much for listening, and please subscribe and leave a review, and I will see you next week.